It's a tragic story, one that is all too common. Use the names, but the case, well, it's right out of my files. Ed Grimer first came to me about a year ago. A sick man, emotionally and physically.
That's how it is, Doctor. My wife and son are gone. Can't go back to the office after what the boss said last time. I don't know where my car is.
I know it looks bad, Grimer, but you do have an important thing in your favor.
I hope you're right, Doctor. I hope so. This isn't the first time. I've been trying one thing right after another. Nothing seems to do any good.
What was the longest period you've been away from liquor in the last few years?
3 months and 2 days. I counted them. That was last year. Took the aversion treatment, some drug that made me throw up my liquor. When I left there, the sight of a bottle would make me sick. I thought I was off it for good. 3 months and 2 days. I've been drinking worse than ever.
I don't think you gave it a fair chance. Do you know about alcoholism?
Eh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, but I haven't checked into it yet.
Well, remember this, Grimer. This thing has been with you for years. You can't expect an easy way out. It'll take time, a long time. It'll be slow. But I think you'll find there's a buildup of satisfactions right from the start of treatment.
I'm at the end of my rope, Doctor. I'll do it.
We'll start by giving you a physical. Not that I think alcohol has damaged you. The real damage doesn't show up until the very last stages of alcoholism. And you're a long way from that. Can you come in, say, at 2 this afternoon?
At 2?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Good, we'll see you then. So Ed Grimer's diagnosis and treatment began. Our medical department reported nothing wrong that a good diet wouldn't correct. I had interviews with him, so did other members of our clinic staff. Gradually, we pieced together his background. Ed never had a chance to know real security. His father, an unhappy person himself, made Ed's life unhappy as well. He was never satisfied with his son as he was. As Ed grew older, all persons in authority became threatening figures to be appeased. Every task resulted in tremendous effort and anxiety. And Ed's first drinking meant much more to him than the daredevil adventure it was to his friends. To Ed, it meant escape from insecurity. Ed got married, was very successful in his work, but this only intensified his fears. To his friends, he seemed to be an ordinary drinker. To them, it is a lubricant for sociability, makes small talk easier. For a moderate amount of alcohol loosens controls, cuts down on self-criticism. Alcohol affects everyone this way. But Ed, although apparently seeking the same effects as his friends, was actually getting something more important, an extra feeling of freedom, a greater sense of belonging. Those drinks meant more to him than he cared to admit, even to himself. In the next 10 years, Ed passed important milestones in his progress toward alcoholism. Morning drinks to help him get over the dreaded blackouts when he would have no recollection of what had happened during drunkenness. Ed's wife stuck with him, covered up for him, called his office, and made excuses when he couldn't report to work. But it could not be covered up forever. Ed's drinking was bound to come out into the open. First would be a period of wonderful release from life's problems. Then would come the quiet, desperate attempt to reach oblivion. I saw Ed at least once a week for several months.
I tried to control it, but I kept drinking more and more. As far as Margaret's concerned, I guess I shouldn't blame her for leaving me. She never knew whether I was going to be drunk or sober. She gave up going places. You know how it is.
Tell me, Ed, just what happened that led up to that last drinking spree?
I don't know what it was. I was feeling sort of tense and upset, of course, but there was nothing unusual about that. Let's see, I think it was a Thursday night. It had been about 3 weeks since I'd had a drink. I'd promised myself to lay off for good this time. And yet I knew a drink or two would fix up that awful feeling that I had inside.
that you, Ed?
Who'd you think it was?
You're home early.
You don't have to check my breath. I'm all right.
Now, take it easy, Ed. I know you haven't been drinking.
Sorry, hon. I guess I am on edge a bit. I've got a lot of work to do at home tonight. Dinner ready?
Well, not for a while yet. I had some shopping to do.
For Pete's sake, I get home early. One night to work and nothing's ready. Where's Billy? Doesn't he need to come home for dinner?
He'll be in soon. Look, why don't you sit and relax for a while?
Oh, I can't, Margaret. I've got to get to work. Say, what about Billy's birthday party Saturday?
Well, I thought we'd skip it this year, Ed. He's getting older, and
I know. You think I might spoil it for him again?
Oh, no, Ed, it's not
Well,
that.
you don't have to worry. I'll be all right. I want to see the look on the other kids' faces when they see the catcher's mitt I'm going to give him.
Why, Ed, you great big show-off. Ed?
What is it?
It's after 1. Couldn't you finish that tomorrow?
No, I've got to get it out tonight so Bronson can have it tomorrow.
But you'll be dead tired in the morning.
Look, I know what I'm doing.
Well, can I fix you something to eat?
Leave me alone, will you? Go on to bed.
All right, Ed.
Wait a minute. Here, take this. You'll sleep better. Shake hands with your coming president.
It went over good then.
Good. It was terrific. Bronston fell over himself.
That's swell, Ed. I knew your worrying was for nothing.
Gosh, I never can tell for sure. I'm always afraid I'll overlook something important.
You didn't. I may be new here, but I could tell that.
My stock was kind of low. It sure needed that boost.
I wouldn't say that. It's quitting time. Come on down. Let me buy you a drink to celebrate.
No, I've got to get home.
So have I. We won't take long.
No, I really think I'd better not.
Oh, come on. You really deserve a drink after that report.
Well, all right. Just one.
Good.
Hey, Jim, another round.
No time clock.
Now, you can't go until you let me buy a round.
Okay, but this will be the last.
All right. To your new job.
Skull. And now let me give one to you. What'll it be?
To my owning my own business.
Right. There's a lot of money in it, if you handle it right.
Yeah, and I can sure handle it right. That's one thing you learn in quality control.
Well, I'm going to shove off.
Have one more round with me and we'll call it a week.
Oh, thanks. I can't. It's getting late.
Oh, what's 10 minutes more?
No, really. Let's do it again some other time.
Okay. Jim, the change.
Thank you,
Oh,
Mr. Kramer.
almost forgot. My major league threat's having a birthday tomorrow. You ought to see that kid stop a fastball. I guess those 2 drinks did something for me that they didn't do for Bob. I suppose Bob got a pleasant glow out of them. Maybe a better appetite for dinner. But for me, well, I can see now that they'd begun to ease off that tension that was haunting me. Worries about whether Bronson would find something wrong with that report after all, things like that. The bender ended in the usual way. I could hardly see in the light. My head was killing me. I couldn't remember a thing. I saw it was Tuesday. It had been 4 days, the worst yet. Well, at least I was still in Rockton this time. I needed a drink. How I needed a drink. But I was flat broke. Then I saw it. That catcher's mitt that I promised to buy Billy. It all came back. Billy's birthday, everything. Margaret? 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 I tried to get in touch with her, but it's no go. I know she's at her sister's, but she won't even come to the phone. Dr. Patton, I didn't want to get drunk like that. I meant to take only 1 or 2 drinks like Bob did. Why couldn't I stop? Why can't I drink like my friends do?
Well, Ed, that's hard to answer. In one way, alcoholics aren't different from people who don't develop this illness. We all have conflicts, problems, difficulties in facing life situations. In most of us, the techniques of control we develop aren't seriously affected by a little alcohol. But with the alcoholic, a small amount of alcohol produces an exaggerated gratification because of what seems to be, well, a peculiar grouping of emotional forces. This leads to more drinking, further reduction of controls, and then an alcoholic bender. But alcoholics are all different. Everyone requires his own treatment, just as you do. Let me tell you about a couple of recent cases we've helped. Let's call the first one Frank, shall we say, Jarley. Frank is a machinist, a good one, too. But his true value to his company was being hurt by his weekend drinking. He wasn't the type that goes from bar to bar. He was a solitary drinker. He would lock himself in his room and drink from Friday night through Sunday.
Mr. Jarley, you're wanted on the telephone. Mr. Jarley, are you there? You're wanted on the telephone, Mr. Jarley.
Frank let nothing interfere with his drinking. During this time, he lived in a dream world, getting, through alcohol, the sensations of affection and companionship which were not his in real life. He'd start tapering off on Sunday, but his bouts lasted longer and longer. He started coming in late Monday mornings, and it was getting worse. His company sent him to us, and after a number of interviews, we interested him in joining Alcoholics Anonymous. He's getting along very well in AA. It's a remarkable organization. Thousands of groups scattered over the country, all made up of former alcoholics who have recovered. I think part of its success springs from the enthusiasm and personal example of members working with new prospects. Other alcoholics suffering as they once did. In AA, Frank has found acceptance which has been lacking in his life. He's no longer alone. There are many paths to alcoholism, many patterns of drinking, many treatment approaches. Let me take another case quite different from Frank's. I'll call her Mrs. Lenford. She's one of those people who try to ease the pain of living by drinking a little all the time.
George, are you home already?
Hello, darling. How'd things go today?
Oh, I had another one of my sick headaches.
Oh, that's a shame. Do you still have it?
I took a spoonful of whiskey, but it didn't seem to help.
I tell you what, let's go out for dinner tonight.
Oh, I don't feel up to it. I'll get something ready. I should have had it all ready for you.
That's all right, dear. I'll do it. You take it easy. Julia, I made an appointment for you today with Dr. Carroll. About your headaches, you know. Maybe he can help.
Dr. Carroll sent her to us, and she's been under treatment for several months now. We found that she'd never really grown up. She demanded that her husband overprotect her and treat her like a child. Yet at the same time, she suffered from feelings of uselessness and futility. The use of alcohol relieved her of the responsibility of accepting an adult role in life. I think she's beginning to understand herself and her feelings now. If she keeps up treatment, I think her chances are good.
What about my chances, Doctor?
How long is it since you've had a drink, Ed?
Let's see, it was 3 months last Wednesday.
It's a slow process, but as you go along, you'll find that the satisfactions you get from not drinking keep increasing, compared with the satisfactions you expected to get from drinking.
I think I understand what you mean.
Recovery means much more than just giving up alcohol. A bender is more than a drinking spree. It's an emotional spree, too. So the thing that's necessary is to develop better techniques of control, of release of tension.
I guess it's the only way, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There are experiments in other directions going on, but right now it's the only way.
My wife could help me in this. I know it.
Would you object if I tried to get in touch with her?
Object? No, I don't object.
Well, we'll see what we can do.
Does that mean you think I'm a good risk, Doctor?
I think so, Ed. It'll take time. But I believe you're on your way. So we kept at the long, slow process of helping Ed to understand himself and his problems. Discussions with me and other members of the clinic staff. We talked to Ed's wife to help her understand some of his problems. And Ed's boss, too, took a real interest in Ed's recovery. He learned that he could never expect to be a controlled drinker again, for the personality of the alcoholic can never withstand the effects of alcohol, no matter how long he has been without it. We arranged for Ed to take part in group discussions with other alcoholics, so he could learn that his problems weren't unique, that others shared them, too.
Yeah, I'm always trying to make up for things, too. I remember when I was a kid playing baseball. I threw the ball at the head of my best friend and knocked him cold. Then I did everything I could for him for the next month or so.
That's an interesting thing. Why did you throw the ball at your friend?
I don't know. Mad at him, I guess. Now, come to think of it, I think it was because I was mad at the umpire. Didn't like the way he was calling balls and strikes.
Why didn't you throw it at the umpire, then?
Well,
There's a point there. I've done the same stuff. Somebody does something, keeps criticizing, keeps saying you should have done more or better, and you take it out on somebody else. It's kind of like my boss at the factory. He does something I don't like, I take it out on somebody working for me. Or take it out on my wife, maybe, by going out and getting drunk.
Ed hasn't had a drink for over a year now. He's back on the job and his family is together again. He's making good progress toward personal readjustment.
Hiya, Billy.
Hi, Dad.
Billy, come in and wash up.
Hi, Ed.
Hi, Margaret.
Ed Grimer, Frank Jarley, and Mrs. Lenford have shown improvement. There are others who show less favorable progress. As never before, we are concentrating scientific efforts to diagnose and treat alcoholism. With greater public support for more clinics, greater public understanding of alcoholism as an illness, there would be more recoveries. Ed's file isn't closed yet. It may never be closed. But Ed has a chance, a good chance of living a comfortable, constructive life without drinking.